second elim final. Fremantle draw first blood. On ball, Pavlich runs, certain goal. Ballantyne's got it. Fremantle 4 in a row. That is magnificent. And oh no, wowee, what about this? Unbelievable 48-point Docker lead. There it is. Geelong have kicked their first goal. Selwood's done it. Duncan, boy oh boy, back to 29 points. The soccer off the ground by Walters. The right foot banana gets it. Goal. Cats. Fantastic stuff there. And Pavlich responds. Geelong are back. And he kicks it. Closing. Goal. Wowee. Ballantyne. Stolen by Mackie. Straight through the eye. Diddle diddle. Shoulder for Candy. You are a superstar. Outstanding performance.
We've got the Fremantle Sirens in the audience. We're not really sure what they do, but they say every away game for the Dockers, they do all the cheer squad work and put the banners up. And last night they would have been very happy because at the MCG, the Cats win in as favourites, but the Dockers get the points. And the man that is the skipper of the Dockers joins us now. Matthew Pavlich, 6 goals last night. Simply an outstanding win. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Hamish.
Achilles issue, we'll talk about it all week, no doubt. The word from you this morning, the Sunday after, how is it?
Look, it's pulled up really well. I copped a knock on it later in the game, but really pleased how it's pulled up this morning. We've done some recovery and some stretching, the ice bars, physio, and yeah, as I said, really happy how it's pulled up and pleased that we'll be able to go to this week and train again.
Pav, really interested in your kicking for goal last night. You missed the first one, you kicked the next 6 straight. Has this been your best season? I think you averaged 68% or something like that, kicking for goal this year.
I think you take back to 2005, actually, John, where my accuracy was up above 70%. But certainly, you know, taking the opportunities at the big moments is something that we've been working on as a group, and it's been nice to capitalise on that.
Pav, the side seems very different this year under Ross Lyon. We're just going to have a look at a graphic of how much you've travelled personally during your career. It's been remarkable. This year on the road, you guys are 7 of 11, and seemingly Ross's motto, anytime, anywhere, is holding true. But you've had 127 games interstate, travelled 700,000 kilometres, 927 hours in the air, and have spent 39 days of your life in a plane getting to and from games. How many frequent fly points have you got?
Well, look, that's the only bonus of doing all that travelling. That actually sounds quite depressing when you put it in those sort of figures. Look, you know, it's great that the players have been able to really embrace the game plan and the guys get into action. 7 of 11 interstates, really pleasing, and we get another opportunity this week against Adelaide to do that.
Sorry, Rui, just on the headline writers around the country, they're always pretty interesting. This morning, it's Pavalotti. We understand you've asked for a copy of it. You're going to turn it into a Doona cover.
You know I wouldn't do that. Don't be stupid.
Let's go to the game. The MCG, Geelong versus Fremantle. As we said, the Cats were warm favourites going in. The reigning premiers, they are out week 1. And a big reason for that is Matthew Pavlich. 6 goals. He was simply outstanding. Dockers home by 16 points after kicking the first 7 goals of the game.
Hey, and they say the best way to win a final interstate is take the crowd out of it. And that's what the Dockers did, and they did it courtesy of the person we're speaking to with 3 first-quarter goals on Tom Monaghan, who's a seriously good player. He's been nominated All-Australian this year. We know that. Nate Fyfe in the game. This goal here from Andrew Mackie, there's only 7 minutes left in the second half when he kicked that, which is Geelong's first goal. Imagine the reigning premier doing that. No one could get their head around it. And Freo's pressure was just too good. The Cats really missed Steve Johnson. His delivery into the forward line. Geelong had a lot of inside 50s. They kicked the ball haphazardly. A lot of that had to do with the pressure put on him by the Fremantle Dockers. So you couldn't take anything away from them. Hayden Ballantyne, wow, he's just a ripper player, Hayden Ballantyne. Forget everything else about him. He actually can seriously play football, provides a lot of energy for that football club, and I look forward to watching them over next week maybe. I don't think the Dockers can do it because they're going to have to go interstate 4 weeks in a row. I'm not sure a club's ever done that, but I just don't underestimate any side coached by Ross Lyon. Josh Hunt gave Geelong a chance. They got within about 20 points. He hit the post just before that. But then the man, they wanted the ball in his hands.
That was the moment right there.
That was it. That was the game over there home. And look, to their credit, they deserved the win. They were outstanding. 3 things I learnt last night. Freo became a real club when they appointed Ross Lyon as coach last September. No two ways about that. They joined the big boys then. The umpiring last night, I don't think was up to the standard required at AFL level. I was really disappointed in it. Did not affect the result. but there were some very, very unclear decisions. And Pav, well, he's had Eastern Seaboard critics in the sense that he hasn't always converted. I mentioned that before. Last night, he provided the focal point for them. And Matthew, you must have been wrapped with the way the game began for you in the first quarter right from the start.
Yeah, certainly it was a key focus for us to get off to a good start. We knew that if we brought the game plan that we really wanted to implement early in the game, we could certainly get on top and really get the ball in our forward half. And I thought the midfield group getting after the contested footy and the clearances really set the game up for us.
Matt, we saw at quarter time on the telecast a lot of Geelong players pointing fingers. Did you pick up anything out on the ground, something from the Geelong players that maybe a reason why they got off to such a slow start?
Yeah, look, to be honest, I didn't really. I saw some of that in some of the highlights last night, but I think it was more just the fact that the guys' ability to really chase from behind, create some pressure, and there was a fair bit of perceived pressure out there. It was obviously hot given the fact it was a final, but it really felt as though we put them under immense pressure, and that was certainly a key focus going into the game.
Pav, obviously Geelong, very experienced finals team, but I thought that your pressure from your young guys who may have only played maybe one final, some of them none at all, I thought that was just outstanding, and that really set the scene.
Yeah, that's right. It's been sort of one of the large focuses in the second half of the year, and an absolute strength of the group is to really get after the opposition and create turnovers. And I think it's taken a fair while for us to really get to that elite level. And, you talk about Matt de Boer, Chris Mayne, Hayden Ballantyne, Michael Barlow, Michael Walters. There's a huge amount of guys who haven't played a great deal of football, but they know how to pressure and turn the ball over.
And obviously that meant a lot of intercept marks for your defenders, which is something that is a key stat now in football. Is that something your defenders have been working on and getting that loose man back behind the ball to really help out the defence?
Well, I think as defenders, they make smart decisions. So, if an opposition forward is running into a spot where they think they can release them, they'll roll off a bit and try to help out. But there wasn't necessarily a plan to create a loose man. I think it was just how the game eventuated last night.
Saw a young man in his first final, Michael Walters, last night, able to hit the scoreboard and have a really good game. Tell us about his pre-season and exactly his transformation this year into a quality AFL footballer.
Yeah, look, it's a great story. He was, for want of a better term, banished to the waffle and told that he needed to behave himself back into the club. What he was doing in his behaviours and his actions with his training and his work ethic was certainly not up to AFL standard, and we know that's absolute elite and has to be every waking moment, and he wasn't meeting those standards. To be frank, a lot of people at the club thought that might be the last we see him, but what we've seen is someone with a really strong character to come out, play really well in the waffle, get into action, work his absolute butt off, and it's great to see he's actually helping the team by that hard work.
Matthew, we see Hayden Ballantyne, the resident irritant on the ground. What's he like away from football, off the field? What sort of personality?
He's a ripper. He really is. Great bloke to be around the footy club. Someone who externally, for whatever reason, has that. I think we do know the reason because, as you said, he's an irritant out there, but just a really good bloke. He's in our leadership group. He portrays all the actions that we really value within the footy club, and he's someone who, internally we rate so highly, and I think hopefully externally people are starting to see how good a footballer he is and not the other stuff.
Matty, one of Hayden's best mates is Matty Scarlett. He may have played his last game last night. Give us your thoughts on a six-time All-Australian.
Yeah, look, I was right next to him when the siren sounded and, had the privilege to shake his hand and say congratulations. And, if it was his last game, well done on such an absolutely wonderful career. One of the toughest defenders I've ever played on, and someone who epitomised what Geelong were about the last 5 or 6 years, someone who was absolutely ruthless and played the game like it was his last. So a terrific player and someone who deserves all the superlatives and accolades that he gets.
He's been a fabulous player, a six-time All-Australian like yourself. Pav, cool your heels, put your Achilles tendon in an ice bucket. We'll be back to you shortly. Time for a break here on Game Day. Paddy Dangerfield, he joins us from Adelaide. Best goals of the year, but right now, top 3 plays of the week.
Well done, Morton. He gave it to Goods, and they're away again. And Jetta is the man for the job. Dowdy chasing him. Jetta gets there first. He throws it onto the foot and kicks a superb goal. How about that? He's got a little little chip over the top, could have gone to Clancy, went to Pav, he turns around from the boundary. What does he do, centre or go for home? He's thinking about centering, he eventually goes for the goal, and he kicks it.
Franklin, he does, gives off to Savage. Oh, gee, the Subs have had a good first quarter.